Now we shift focus to Washington, where at the Quad foreign ministers meet, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has slammed global indifference to terrorism, making it clear that India will defend its people full stop. Now Jaishankar said the world must show zero tolerance to terror, and without naming names, the message to Pakistan was loud and clear. Victims and perpetrators must never be equated, said the EAM, hinting at the recent cross-border Pahalgam terror attack. He also called for a more focused Quad to strengthen the Indo-Pacific, boost security, and of course build faster global coordination. Meanwhile, the Quad pledged stronger disaster response and economic cooperation, with Jaishankar confirming India will host the next summit, which is the Quad Leaders Summit. Now, India is not backing down and it expects its partners to back it up. Here's what the EAM said.
Quad is about deepening our convergence and expanding our common ground. I value our consultations on different dimensions of the Indo-Pacific in that regard. A lot is happening in the world, and I'm sure that our exchange of views will be very valuable for all of us. A word about terrorism in the light of our recent experience. The world must display zero tolerance. Victims and perpetrators must never be equated, and India has every right to defend its people against terrorism, and we will exercise that right. We expect our Quad partners to understand and appreciate that.
My colleague Natasha Estrani joins us all the way from New York for more on this story. Natasha, a very clear message by EAM Jaishankar there. Now, is there a growing alignment within the Quad on backing India's security concerns, or are there still quiet hesitations, as we've seen in the past?
Well, yes, terrorism is something that India talks about often. This is not the first time. External Affairs Minister was at the United Nations just a day before yesterday in New York, also highlighting terrorism. So on broad terms, certainly the Quad has made noises supporting the overall stance of fighting against terrorism and standing up to it. But that doesn't seem to be the full focus of Quad during this meeting, which happened in DC. But I do want to underline that there are other challenges that the Quad is facing. Each of those countries, Japan, Australia, India, along with the United States, even though there was so much emphasis on Quad cooperation by the United States, especially at the beginning of the year in January, there have been some shadows after that, because the tariffs which Donald Trump has imposed have affected all of these countries. So there is some amount of bristling and friction there within the Quad, including Japan, which has been asked to increase its defense spending by the United States, and they're not so happy about doing that. So while overall front of cooperation as counterweight to China is important to Quad and remains in place, there are still a lot of mini fractures which have not been fully addressed.
Well, that's absolutely correct. In fact, Donald Trump also mentioned the Japan tariffs aboard the Air Force One just hours ago. We'll be coming to that story, but back to the India-Pakistan situation now, Natasha. Now, with the US juggling ties with both India and Pakistan, Asim Munir was there recently. How is it navigating this increasingly direct Indian posture on terrorism?
Certainly. Well, India was not very happy about the remarks that Trump had made earlier. If you remember, when Trump tried to indicate that he had brokered a peace deal between India and the United States by putting pressure on the trade front, and India did not take too kindly to that. And I think both countries this time are being careful to stay away from that. In fact, on Air Force One just today while Donald Trump actually told reporters that he's very positive about a trade deal with India, and he actually said that he believes that India is ready to lower barriers, and that could pave the way for a deal for much less tariffs on India. So he is still being very positive. He's focusing on the trade part. But when it comes to terrorism, the United States president this time and also Marco Rubio really haven't said anything specific. So everybody is being diplomatic on that one.